This is Bob Duchense's Wild Maine. Coming up on today's show, the bait debate.
What if the fish think that the bigger bait is a fish that's bigger than them? They might run away. Always choose a smaller fish that they think that is easy food for them, so they will actually attack it.
Well, the bigger the fish is gonna come.
The bigger. Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Bob Duchense's Wild Maine airs twice every weekend, Saturday mornings at 9 and Sunday mornings at 8, which means that if you're listening on Saturday morning, you've got another whole day to get ready for the second family ice fishing day at the Maine Youth Fishing Game Association on Pickerel Pond. That's east of Milford. Now, if you're listening on Sunday, it's already started, and you better get the kids bundled up and in the car. We will return to the ice for the first half of the show this morning. Coming up next weekend, a long tradition continues. A caravan will leave Portage Lake up in the county and travel through the Maine woods, through the working forest to get to the Quebec Winter Carnival. Everyone who's ever done this caravan will tell you the caravan is a hoot. And, of course, the Winter Carnival in Quebec City is like nothing else. We'll get the entire inside story later on this show. Bob Duchense's Wild Maine is brought to you by Hammond Lumber, Dysarts, EBS, and Napa Auto Parts. Two weeks ago, I spent a morning at Pickerel Pond. That's out the Stud Mill Road in Milford, about 3 miles from where County Road intersects with the Stud Mill Road. That might say the St. Regis Road in one of your older DeLormes. Twice each winter, the Maine Youth Fishing Game Association throws a family ice fishing day at Pickerel Pond. The association provides the traps, the bait, the holes, and a warm building and plenty of food. There are prizes for the biggest fish, but maybe the best prize is the kids get to take home their cash. And is there anything better than pan-fried brook trout? Hundreds of people turned out last time, including Maine Secretary of State Matt Dunlap. He'll be on the show later. And if you listened to last weekend's show about it, you've already met Andrew C. Koch. Andy is 10 years old. He's been ice fishing for half his life, and now he's taking the time to teach me and some of the kids we're meeting along the way on the ice. So I'm just turning over the microphone.
Can I tell you a really good trick on hooking fish?
You got the insider?
The trick on hooking fish, don't hook them by the mouth.
Go ahead.
Hook them underneath the spine. Right underneath the spine, because that's the way the fish will work. That's the way the fish, so he can still swim and he doesn't have this hook. And plus, if you miss, the hook could puncture the brain and the fish would be dead. And the bigger fish down there wouldn't really be attracted. So hook it under the spine and it will work better, okay?
Cool. Good tip.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
Welcome. So, Bob, where to next? I'll let you choose this time.
All right, we got a whole bunch of kids over here. Let's see how they're doing.
Right here, maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, this seems like a good spot. Hello, folks.
Hello.
Do you have any luck yet?
Oh, yes, they caught all kinds.
Oh, let's go over.
Oh,
Now,
snap!
who caught these? Come show me your fish.
Which ones did you guys catch? Oh,
Okay.
smack his tail for a bit. Take down his reflexes. Just give him a good little smack like this.
Does that really work? If you smack the fish, he'll just lay there?
Nah.
Oh, you just
Nah, not all the
fish.
Nah, sometimes if you slap the fish, it will bring the carcass to its senses and it just holds still.
Oh.
That's just nerves that's working right now. Either that or you guys just caught him and he's still gasping for air.
Yeah.
Who caught this one?
Oh, that one's still moving a little bit.
This one's mine. I got.
Oh, those are some nice.
Wow.
Those are some nice fish. When did you catch him?
Just not too long ago. Just a little while ago.
Yeah, he shouldn't be that slimy. Shouldn't be that slimy then. The more you leave him out of water, the slimier they get. Trust me.
Except right now they just get icy because it's below freezing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what's your name and how old are you?
My name's Dylan and I'm 10 years old.
You? What's your name?
Emma and I'm 9 years old.
Okay. You?
Kaylee and I'm 7.
And last but not least,
Chris and I'm 6.
thanks.
And you've got 6 brook trout. Congratulations.
6 brook trout, and there's 4 of you. So one of you had to have caught 2 fish.
I caught 2 fish.
Did you really? The
Yeah.
youngest of the bunch of you caught the 2?
Yep.
Wow.
Actually,
I
that's
caught these 2.
nice. Actually, that's the rules. You're only allowed to catch 2 fish here. 2 fish at Pickerel Pond. That's actually the legal limit.
Now, do you like eating the fish?
No.
What?
You're kidding!
Holy
I love brook trout. Oh, that's so
Brook trout
good.
are tasty. Let me give you a tip if you are gonna eat them. Put them in tin. No, first you have to gut them all out and all that stuff. Yeah, salt, pepper, and butter them. Put just a bit of lemon in them. Wrap them in tin foil and throw them in the oven. Cook for about, I don't know how long, and I do not know what the temperature is either. That's my mom's gig. Have a good day.
Thanks. And congratulations. Those are some good fish.
Those are some pretty good fish.
Yeah.
And one more thing, those are really good eating fish, too.
Oh, yeah. That's like the best.
Do your parents like to eat? Nope. Wait, do any of you four like eating the fish? No?
Yeah. Fish sticks.
Fish sticks, yeah. I like actual brook trout fresh from the pond. Got them out, cut off their heads. My brother's really squeamish when it comes to that.
Is that right? And he's older than you, right?
Yeah, he's 12.
Well, why is he squeamish?
I don't know. He's like my great uncle Rocky. Passes out when he sees needles. Well, he hasn't passed out when he sees needles yet.
Yeah.
He's only thrown up when he got his tetanus
Right.
shots. Whoa! I'm not intending on falling again.
Let's see.
2 times is too many. Oh, how about right here for just a quick second?
Yeah, let's see what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're just setting up.
I take it you guys are just setting up.
How you doing?
They let anybody in here.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
How we doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Yep. I'm Bob Duchense's apprentice for right now.
We're going to squeeze this into 2 shows.
You guys have any luck yet?
No.
No. Can you tell me
In
your
the
name?
back of my
I'm
gator,
Kaylee.
you want to see some fish?
Hi.
Okay.
And can you tell me how old you are?
I'm 12.
Nice. I'm
Never
10.
fished before.
Never fished before.
Never fished.
Ice fish.
Well,
Okay.
never ice fish. Then you're going to love this. If you do catch a fish, eat it. Fish are good eating. Holy banana, these are big fish.
Yeah, that one's probably a leader right there.
Yeah, this might make it onto the. Maybe this
They're
one.
bigger than the ones that weighed in so far, I think.
I think this one might make it onto the top 5.
You're listening to Bob Duchense's Wild Maine, although this part of the show belongs to Andrew Koch. We're at Pickerel Pond, and he's showing me around the Maine Youth Fish and Game Association Family Ice Fishing Day a couple of weeks ago. There's another one this weekend. It's a Sunday event from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. Across the way, I can see a familiar face. Maine Secretary of State Matt Dunlap is here, and we're going there next. This is Sports Radio 92.9, The Ticket. This is Bob Duchense's Wild Maine on Sports Radio 92.9, The Ticket. Before we get back to ice fishing with the kids and Matt Dunlap, something you should know about. Monday, the reservation line opens up for camping at Maine State Parks. You can do it online. The web address is campwithme.com. You have plans for the summer and you need a camping space? It's campwithme.com. Reservations open on Monday. Today, we are at Pickerel Pond where the first family ice fishing day happened a couple of Saturdays ago. There's another one this weekend. Sunday hours are 8 to 3. If you're just tuning in, I should warn you I am not hosting this part of the show. That honor goes to 10-year-old Andrew Koch.
And welcome back to Bob Duchense's Wild Maine.
Hey, you know this guy here?
No.
Oh, this is the Maine Secretary of State,
You know me.
Matt Dunlap.
Matt Dunlap. Yeah, I do know
You
you.
should do.
How you doing?
Pretty good, you?
I'm excellent. Good to have you guys out here.
Yeah, he's the star of the show today. He's going to show me all around and explain it to me because I'm going to make this confession now and then I'll never admit it later. I have never in my life actually ice fished.
Oh.
And I lived on a lake where everybody ice fished. I just never did.
Well, you were our
Hey.
first lifetime license winner, weren't you?
Yeah, I think we were.
First lifetime license?
Yeah.
The youth board, the Maine Youth Fish and Game Association, I was one of the founders. I was lucky to be a part of it. But we have 2 boards. We have the board that actually runs everything, makes sure everything happens.
Yeah, in the youth board.
And the youth board, which, they actually are more directly integrated with the kids.
Yeah.
And so they raise their own money. They do things like sell wristbands, raffle tickets, and they use the money to purchase a lifetime license that they give away at an event like this every year. And you were our first winner.
Wow.
I'm pretty lucky then.
By lifetime, you mean eating fish for the rest of his life and not have to...
Yeah, and actually, when I was in the legislature, I helped write most of the lifetime license law.
Is there anything you didn't write?
He's
I
a
haven't
very
created
righty
the
man.
Department of Birdwatching yet. When I do, I'll talk to you about that.
Sounds good.
But yeah, Maine has a lifetime license program, so it's tiered so that for a fishing license for a kid under the age of 6, it's $150. It's good for their life.
Dang.
And even if they move out of state, they can still come back here and use it. The money doesn't go directly to the department. It goes into a trust. An investment plan is worth several $1 million now. We had a couple people donate money to the fund. But people up to the age of 16 and over the age of 65 can get the lifetime license.
Yeah.
So, and really the beauty of the older licenses, we used to give away licenses to people over 70. We don't do that anymore. You buy a one-time purchase. I think it's like $8, good for life. The beauty of that is we leverage all the federal money that comes from selling licenses. So that money goes directly into conservation programs. And the kids, here, I mean, you see a lot of youth board members walking around, seeing if they can help some of the other kids. A lot of families out here are starting to pick up now.
I followed a caravan out here. I didn't think it'd get this busy this early.
Yeah, well, usually we'll have people out here at 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
And they've already caught a couple of big ones over on the other side over there. They tend to hang in that shallow water over there. And over here is good, too. You'll see a few flags go up over here on the near side.
Yeah, around here it's practically the deepest spot in the pond.
Yeah.
So some fish are gonna be biting a lot around here.
So you know this pond pretty well then, don't you?
Yeah, my mom gave me a bit of information.
And he's fished it for a long time.
Yes, I've been fishing since I was 5 or 6.
Yeah.
And I'm not too shabby.
So, we don't really have a membership program, although we serve about close to between 500 and 700 kids a year. We have a couple of weeks of summer camps where they learn everything about the outdoors. We can teach them. How to recover a swamped canoe. They learn how to fish. We have a shooting range up in the back. We do firearms instruction, archery instruction.
Lost in the woods safety.
Lost. You get what to do if you get lost. I mean, everything. It's really gone beyond our wildest expectations. So.
Well, I was out here for summer camp this summer, and I couldn't believe the crowd and how much fun everybody was having, and all the things they were learning. It was great.
Oh yeah, it's
like
just
the rope course.
When we started this, I mean, I was chair of the Fish and Wildlife Committee, and people were saying, geez, wouldn't it be great to have a fish and game club in Old Town again? Back in the day, when the shops were still all open, like the shoe shops, there was the Canoe City Fish and Game Club, which went away in the early 70s. And people said, wouldn't it be great to have one again? I was like, I don't have time to do that. They're like, hint. So we had the commissioner come up for a sportsman's forum, and there were about 100 guys there. And I asked the question, how many of you guys are interested in putting together a fish and game club? Of course, they all raised their hands.
Of course.
Now I'm stuck. So I had a little campaign money left over, put an ad in the paper, and we met for about a year. And Dave Georgia was the game warden for this area, and he came to all the meetings. He said, you guys keep talking about kids, hooked on fishing, not on drugs, youth field days, why not just make it a kids club? It's like, geez, we never thought of that. And it's like the heavens opened, and we couldn't keep up with the enthusiasm for the idea. International paper held this property at the time, and they gave us this on a lease at first, and they donated it to the state. Northern Log Homes donated the original section of the building. The Maine Trappers Association gave us a $1,000 donation to pay for half of the well that we have here. So Ken Gould came out to drill the well. I met him, showed him where to put it. And he said, what is this place anyway? I explained it to him. He said, I'll donate the other half. We had to find ways to spend money. Everything was donated. Yeah. We have an annual banquet and auction in the spring. We'll have that in April 11th this year. And it's hard to find a seat. There's so many that come to that, and that money that we raise from that helps subsidize these programs. So it's everything goes back into the club. We don't have any paid staff except for your mom.
Yeah, Andy's mom here.
Yeah.
Mom is here, and she does a wonderful job. She's been a godsend to us for running the summer camp.
Yeah, she's the director of camp too.
She's the
That's
director
pretty
of our
helpful.
summer camps and does a beautiful job of that, and that's been a real success for us here. So.
Now, is this the only pond in the state that's limited to fishing under 16 years old?
No, there's a number that are, and there are sections of like the Aroostook River, for example, that are limited to kids-only fishing. It's a special designation, and this is a great pond. It's 11 acres, and it was designated kids-only fishing long before there was a youth club here. And part of that was to try to change the party culture that was going on. When I was in college, this is where they used to have Chicken Fest. And it was a massive 3-day debauch that would go on every year. And international paper was trying to clean this up. So they asked the state to make it kids-only fishing. It was a total disaster because people bring out their kids out here to fish, and there'd be a big party going on, So... when international paper heard about us, they contacted Dave Georgia and said, "Hey, do we have a deal for you?" And it's really been a huge success. I mean, people come out here, are very respectful of the facility. You don't see any garbage shot up in the shooting range. You don't see any vandalism.
Yeah, well, at least in the summer camp, there isn't any garbage out on the range because my mom makes a challenge out there, so you can pick up the most garbage. Whoever does that gets some sort of prize, like a candy bar or something like that.
Some of the things that Vanessa Koch has done with the summer camps, just kind of off-the-wall things, like, wood burning. Wood burning kits.
Yeah, that's fun.
And it was magical because when you had a rainy day, they had something fun to do. And so she's been tremendous with that. So things to do at camp.
Well, let's go around and see who's having some luck. Okay. And you can continue interviewing. Certainly. Thanks, Matt. Once again, that's Matt Dunlap. In a moment, we'll wrap up our visit to Family Ice Fishing Day at Pickerel Pond and then get ready for a caravan heading deep into Maine's woods on the way to a wicked big party. It's the Aroostook to Quebec Winter Carnival Caravan that is coming up next Friday. You're about to learn everything there is to know as Bob Duchense's Wild Maine continues on Sports Radio 92.9 The Ticket. This is Bob Duchense's Wild Maine on Sports Radio 92.9 The Ticket. Saturday mornings at 9, Sunday mornings at 8. A couple of weeks ago, it was Family Ice Fishing Day at Pickerel Pond, home of the Maine Youth Fish and Game Association, out on the Stud Mill Road east of Milford. Today's show is coming to you from there. There is another Family Ice Fishing Day this weekend, with Sunday hours 8 to 3. For the next 4 minutes, 10-year-old Andrew Koch is your expert guide. He's done this for half his life. All right, got a new hole. Yep. You guys discuss what is the secret to catching the big one.
Well, we just got the big bait, but it's mostly just your luck today.
I mean, you must have some tips on how you would choose a spot to fish.
Yes. The shore is a pretty good place because the fish sometimes come by there and sniff around for a good snack of the bait.
My best secret is you go near the edge because that's where all the fish usually are hiding, near the bed of the edge.
Hey, Bob, we got a flag.
Oh, okay, got a flag. Let's go.
Over there.
Nothing.
Nothing?
Oh, the fish are getting smart.
Holy Toledos. Hello. What's your name? Name's Trey. Hi. Hello, Trey. How old are you? 6. What's your favorite part about ice fishing?
I don't know.
Do you catch and release the fish, or do you catch and eat the fish?
Catch, you eat them, right? Eat them.
You like eating them? Because there's a whole bunch of kids over there who don't like to eat them.
Yeah.
I thought that was weird because I love eating them.
That's just scary.
I love fish.
If they're not going to eat them, I'll take them off their hands.
Yeah, I'll take them off their hands too.
Yeah. So you're a fish eater?
Yep.
Nice. What's your name?
Kyle.
Hello, Kyle. How old are you?
I am 10.
What's your favorite part about ice fishing?
Just waiting and having fun.
Yeah, just being out on the ice. That's one of the best parts about wind.
All right, who here can give me the secret on how to catch the good ones?
I think it's just waiting and getting the biggest bait.
Yeah.
Biggest bait will get the biggest fish?
Yeah.
Actually, bigger bait. Yeah, here's the thing. What if the fish think that the bigger bait is a fish that's bigger than them? They might run away. Always choose a smaller fish that they think that is easy food for them, so they will actually attack it.
Well, the bigger the bait, the bigger the fish is gonna come.
The bigger. Oh, yeah, that's a good point. So let's say you put a brook trout in there. Who knows? You might catch a pickerel about this big. Who knows?
Yep.
What's the biggest pickerel you ever caught?
Me? I only caught 3 or 4 pickerel in my life, and I think the biggest one was about 1.5, maybe 2 feet.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
It's pretty big.
Yeah, that's big. Anything over 1.5, I think is pretty big.
Mine was like 21 inches.
Yeah, that's bigger.
Yeah. Have a good day.
We got another one.
Another one.
Yeah.
Like you would, give it a bit of a jerk.
So much you're going.
Oh, no. Got away.
What's your name?
Ethan.
Oh, Ethan, how old are you?
13 years old.
13. Nice. Have you heard of the Maine Youth Fishing Game Association?
No, I haven't.
Where do you live?
Milford.
Milford? Then you should try going to the Maine Youth Fishing Game Association. It happens here. You get to kayak, archery, shoot 22s. There's a ropes course this year.
Yep, more and more kids are finding out about the Maine Youth Fishing Game Association at Pickerel Pond. The summer camps are great, and the family ice fishing days in winter can really draw a crowd. Thanks to 10-year-old Andrew Koch for doing all the work on today's show. Remember, there's another family ice fishing day this weekend with Sunday hours 8 to 3. Next Friday, a long line of vehicles is going to take the shortcut to the Quebec Winter Carnival, taking the logging roads through the Maine woods to get there. For that story, we welcome Sarah Brooks to Bob Duchense's Wild Maine.
Well, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
The Maine-Quebec Winter Carnival Caravan. This has been going on for decades, and I think I know what it is, but it'd be better if you just explain it.
Well, way back, 1957, there was quite a group of rather industrious businessmen from the Ashland area and the central Aroostook area that came up with the idea of having a road leading from Ashland directly west to the Quebec border, and this would be through the woods, through the forests of northern Maine. And the first trip that they embarked upon was one where they had to be accompanied by bulldozers and heavy equipment to totally clear the road for their four-wheel drive vehicles to be able to reach the Canadian border. Upon doing so, they then traveled on into Quebec City, and traditionally the Quebec Winter Carnival Caravan has been in conjunction with the world-famous Quebec Winter Carnival. And that's the same as what's going to happen this year.
Now, you have to put this in context. Back in 1957, that was when they were still doing river drives, and not all that many roads were actually in the woods.
That's absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. And a number of years ago, we had a family that went on the caravan whose father had been one of the bulldozer operators, to go through. So that was pretty exciting.
Now, in any given year, how many cars in this caravan do you actually average?
Well, it's interesting because this year is the 50th anniversary of the largest caravan that we ever had going through. And, of course, unfortunately, I was not on that caravan, but it was the 1965 caravan that left Ashland, and there were roughly 225 travelers that embarked on the trip west.
Wow. Now, I have got to think that cars of that vintage on dirt roads going that far, especially in winter, must have struggled a little more than today's cars do.
Well, there was quite a list of requirements that you had to have if you were taking the trip. Your vehicle had to be equipped with chains, and it had to have all kinds of extra emergency gear, blankets, so on and so forth. Wreckers, fuel trucks accompanied that trip. There was Loring Air Force Base was more or less in its heyday, and at that point in time they had some of the vehicles, support vehicles from Loring that went along. Mm-hmm. You had representatives from the legislature, from the governor's office. Governor Reed was very instrumental in going-ons at that time and with that trip. So they didn't go into it blindly, that's for sure.
Well, I would hope not. My guest is Sarah Brooks. She resurrected a 60-year-old tradition of caravanning through the Maine woods to get to the Quebec Winter Carnival. That caravan starts next Friday morning at Dean's Motor Lodge on Portage Lake. We've now heard how they used to do it. Next, we'll hear how they do it now. If this sounds like something you'd want to do, you can search the web for the Central Aroostook Chamber of Commerce and find all the info right there. This is Bob Duchense's Wild Maine on Sports Radio 92.9 The Ticket. This is Sports Radio 92.9 The Ticket with Bob Duchense's Wild Maine. More than 60 years ago, a bunch of folks up in Aroostook County thought it would be a lot of fun to go to the Quebec Winter Carnival by cutting through the woods. Now picture what the cars and roads were like when they started in the 50s. Sarah Brooks' father was one of those people. He rode the bulldozer. She brought the tradition back to life. They are caravanning this Friday, and she is my guest. I'm wondering how it works now, Sarah. What's the route?
Well, what we do now and what we have for the last few years, we leave Dean's Hotel in Portage. Mm-hmm. And from Dean's, you take a left out of the parking lot, proceed about a half mile down the beach road in Portage, take another left, and from there on in, you're on dirt roads for the next, about 88 miles until you hit the Quebec border at St. Pathfield.
Now, what is the actual route? Are you going down the Pinkham Road and down to Telos, or what?
No.
Okay, because I Google mapped this, and it gave me a suggested route, and I said, really, are they going to go that way? And it didn't make sense.
No. What we do, we leave Portage, and we go up to the Fish Lake area. Mm-hmm. And from Fish Lake, it's Rocky Brook. We go to Maybeck, mm-hmm. and Maybeck was a Canadian set of logging camps that was usually our first stop. And it was a great rest stop because we'd have, fresh coffee and pastries and a bathroom. And then we continue on and we cross at St. Pathfield. Mm-hmm. And at St. Pathfield, that's a border crossing. It's really it's fully manned on both the American side and the Canadian side, but it's basically a border crossing for log trucks.
Yeah, that's not a passing that most motorists could take.
Correct.
Yeah.
What we have to do, the North Maine Woods office in Ashland with Al Copperthwaite, we make arrangements with them to have the truckers made aware that we are going to be traveling as caravan. And of course, we're on private logging roads, mm-hmm. and those private logging roads are there for the transportation, of course, of the logs from the forest into the mill sites. And one of the basic rules of the road up there is that you travel with radio communications, so that you know where a log truck is, and you know where you are, and therefore you know that you don't want to be in the middle of the road when they're coming around a curve.
Right.
So we take as many precautions as we possibly can. And one of the precautions that we take is that we have a trail master. And our recent trail master is a retired game warden from here in Portage by the name of Jim Dumont. Mm-hmm. And Jim is bilingual. He speaks both French and English. And his personal pickup truck is equipped with all of the MERS radios to communicate with the truckers. We also have, with each vehicle in the caravan, we are also supplied with two-way radios that are supplied by Aroostook Technologies out of Presque Isle. And with these two-way radios, the trail master radios back to each of us, and he will say, this is an example, we're at mile marker 34. We have a loaded log truck at mile marker 37. Half a mile up the road, there's a good place for us to turn off. We will turn off and we will wait until the truck comes by. And of course, he has also communicated this with the log truck. It's a great system, and which makes the road safe.
Absolutely. According to Google Maps, it'll take you about 4.5 hours to go from Dean's Motor Lodge up to Fort Canton, over the Trans-Canada Highway, and back down to Quebec. What's the driving distance for this?
From my house to Quebec City going that way, it's I'm going to say roughly 220 miles. Mm-hmm. Going through the woods, it is somewhat shorter. It's less than 200 miles. I think it's 100 and roughly 185 miles, 188 miles.
Yeah.
And, of course, on the logging roads, as compared to our state roads, there's no gravel. There's no sand.
Mm-hmm.
So the woods are white. The roads are white. You have the snowbanks, but you just don't have the same type of scenery as you would, say, driving up Route 11.
Frankly, they're smoother in the winter than they are in the summer.
Yes, they are.
We'll keep that secret to ourselves.
Let me, if I may, I'd like to tell you a little bit about last year's trip.
Oh, please do, because I was curious. I wanted to follow up on that.
Well, last year's trip there was one of those blizzards that hit the day before. And we did have some people who canceled out, and because they didn't feel that they could get to Portage that early in the morning, and then they really were rather hesitant about heading through the woods, in that type of that type of snowstorm. But I'll tell you, the road crews are notified that we are going up. We had, I think there were probably 25 or so of us last year. We left Dean's parking lot at 7:30 in the morning, but I have to tell you that at 6:30 in the morning, we received a phone call from the owner of Maybeck, and his personal home is across the river from Quebec City in Levy, and he called me at Dean's to let me know that the Trans-Canada had been closed due to the storm. And it was closed from River Duluth, which is north of Edmundston, all the way to Quebec City. And that was kind of interesting.
So in a way, the only way you could get there is the route you took.
St. Pamphile is very definitely the northern part of the state.
Yes.
We left Dean's Hotel, and we went that little bit that I was telling you about before we hit the Woods Road. Irving had a snowplow that cleared the way for us. The road conditions were unbelievably wonderful. As a matter of fact, I drive a Toyota, a Camry, and that's what I took through the woods.
I always used to take my Toyota Prius all over the woods. Probably a little numb to do it, but I did fine.
Yep. So our adventure, we went to the Maybeck camps for our rest stop, and we got there, and they said, boy, the roads from St. Pamphile to the Trans-Canada are closed. So everybody was still game, though, to go on this adventure, and we proceeded to the border, and then when we were in St. Pamphile, again, the wonderful folks at Maybeck took us in and to their conference room, and they started to get on the computer, and they found an alternate route into Quebec City for us. We went down to St. George. And then to Quebec City. We arrived like supper time.
I was going to say, that's a long way around.
It certainly was. But I guarantee you this much, everybody on the caravan remembered that adventure.
Oh, I'll bet.
Yep, they had remembered that trip. So it was really, really, it's always an adventure. We had, I'm trying to find the year here. There was quite a hiatus for the caravan. The caravan went strong in the 50s and the 60s and into the 70s. But the 80s and the 90s, there were no organized caravans. And in the early 2000s, and I believe it was 2002, the Ashland Rotary Club decided to revive this trip. And they started to get it together again, made all kinds of arrangements up in Quebec City for, receptions and group reservations, so on and so forth. And from 2002 until now, we've been going every year.
Sarah Brooks is my guest. She and a whole bunch of county folk leave next Friday morning to caravan from Portage Lake to the Quebec Winter Carnival. They're going through the woods, through Maine's working forest, just like they have for over 60 years. And once you get to Quebec, well, that's pretty good, too. Stand by. This is Bob Duchenne's Wild Maine on Sports Radio 92.9 The Ticket.
All right, so at 35, it'll give me 40. 35 will give me 40. I got 40.
You're listening to Sports Radio 92.9 The Ticket. This is Bob Duchenne's Wild Maine. A couple of weeks ago, I had Todd Saucier on this show to talk about the Pine Tree Snowmobile Club's chili and chowder auction. Well, I went to that, and it was every bit as good as Todd said it would be.
And sold for 55. Thank you, Angel.
Now, if they throw a poker run as good as they do the supper auction, then rearrange your schedule right now. The Pine Tree Snowmobile Club poker run is this weekend. The Sunday event runs 9 to 1 at the clubhouse on the Outer Call Road in Milford. Now, let's get back to the Aroostook to Quebec Winter Carnival Caravan, which is coming up this Friday. A bunch of folks are meeting at Dean's Motor Lodge on Portage Lake and caravanning to Quebec. One time a year, you can get there from here. Instead of going up through Fort Kent and around down the highway, they'll be going through Maine's working forest, straight to Quebec City and crossing the border where normally only logging trucks can go. Sarah Brooks is my guest. Well, let me ask you a basic question. Can you fit everybody into Dean's Motor Lodge for breakfast?
Oh, we sure can.
Okay.
Dean's is absolutely wonderful.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, and Angie does a great job for us. She, they bend over backwards there. They do a great breakfast for us, and we have a kind of send-off ceremonies. There's there's a table with a lot of the souvenirs from all the way back to the 1950s. People get a packet, and included in the packet is the effigy that they have to wear at the carnival as as the ticket to get into all of the activities. We've been producing a history book, and each participant gets a history book. They get some little goodies that might be from North Maine Woods or different organizations that are helping us out on the trip. And one of the couple of the things that are in the history book, we do have some photographs of the 2004 trip that did go a little bit differently. We left Ashland and we would proceed to Clayton Lake and then across. And at that time, we had a wedding on on Clayton Lake. And there's somebody who had held up a sign that said, minus 35 degrees.
Sounds like the set of the movie Frozen. Yeah. Well, here's an interesting fact. I'm not sure everybody's aware. The caravan is basically one way. Once you get there, hotels, the trip back, that's all on your own.
That's correct. And you're also on your own to make your hotel reservations. Yeah. And then your meals and stuff, unless we do a group reservation to go out to eat. That's you're there to enjoy the carnival.
Absolutely, and you want the flexibility to stay as long as you want too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes, that's absolutely correct.
How many times have you actually gotten to the border and somebody couldn't get in?
Never.
Okay, good. Because everyone's warned ahead of time.
Everybody is warned ahead of time that of course, you have to have your passport. You can't have an OUI on your license. You can't have, felonies, so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. And when we register with the Central Aroostook Chamber of Commerce, there's quite the registration form that needs to be filled out. And everybody that's going to be traveling in the caravan, no matter what their age, their names, their addresses, their date of birth, is sent to the Canadian border crossing at St. Paulville. So they have a list ahead of time, and they do advise us if there's going to be any issues. But we've never run into that problem.
Now, are there any official parties or social events that are scheduled for you once you get there?
Well, this year we will be doing a tour of the Parliament building there in Quebec City, and all that's just the architecture and the exterior and the interior of it is just absolutely beautiful. Right now, that's the only organized activity that we do have planned.
Yeah, it's basically the caravan is the caravan. Once you get there, you're free to party anywhere you want.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Now, then the big question is, which side of the border has better beer?
Not the person to answer that question.
Now, registrations, I presume, close at a certain point.
Well, we do like to have the reservations in, but we've never refused anybody, even if they've, called us the day before.
Oh, okay, good. Well, in that case, how do people actually register, and what is the schedule for showing up, etc.?
Okay, they can register through the Central Aroostook Chamber of Commerce, and there is a website. They just have to Google it. They can call the chamber, and the chamber's office is located in Presque Isle, and that phone number would be 207-764-6561. And registrations are available online. They can be emailed. The registration fee is $30 per person, and that $30 does include that effigy that I mentioned earlier, and the effigy on site in Quebec, I believe, is $15.
Yeah. But so you get the caravan plus the ticket you were going to get anyway for the festival.
Yes.
Now there's a ferry crossing. Is that extra?
The ferry crossing is extra, and it's roughly $10. And that's how we do cross the St. Lawrence to get into Quebec City. And we cross as a group.
For anybody who might want to go on the caravan but has never actually been to Quebec Winter Carnival, how should they prepare?
Well, if they're from northern Maine, dress like you're in northern Maine. The venue is outside, and they have just such a wide variety of activities. They have an international snow sculpture competition, and oh my goodness gracious, the snow sculptures are just unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. The entire Plains of Abraham is set up kind of like as an outdoor carnival. Some years they'll even have a Ferris wheel there. I know one of the big events, the weekend that we're going to be going up, which is the departure is February 13th, Friday. Oh, Friday the 13th
Yes.
this year. Ooh.
Yes, it is.
We'll be up there for Valentine's Day, though, so that's good.
Right.
But they have the Saint Hubert sleigh races. And oh, my goodness gracious, what an incredible course for horse-drawn sleighs. And they'll have competition with single horses, double horses, and then 4 horses pulling the sleighs. And in the past, they've had international competitors, international drivers from France, Belgium, and Austria.
Well, when I'm on the Plains of Abraham in winter, one way I know I'm in Quebec is when I see all those people just out jogging on snowshoes. It's routine.
It is.
It's like, what's wrong with these people?
It's it's just that, they certainly know how to enjoy the winter out there and how to participate outside. But Quebec City itself, oh my goodness gracious, the way they have the city decorated is just beautiful. All of the lights at night, the trees, the window boxes, that sort of decorations. The old part of the city has wonderful, wonderful ice sculptures outside of different buildings. You have your street performers that are out, as the weekends especially. You'll have the musicians. You'll have, you'll have jugglers. You'll have. It's just amazing. They have the beautiful ice castle that's there, and Saturday night is a huge, huge parade.
Well, the nice thing about walking around downtown Old Quebec is that you can navigate on foot anywhere just by seeing where you are in relation to Hotel Frontenac.
Most definitely. Most definitely. One thing that I do have to say about the Winter Carnival, it is a family event. There is something there for children of all ages.
Yeah, which really is a change because 30 years ago it was kind of a drunken debauchery.
Yes.
I think maybe we'll leave it right there.
Good idea. I do have just another little story to tell you on why this trip started to be resurrected back in 2002. My cousin, who was from Fort Kent, she grew up in Fort Kent, she and I used to go to the Winter Carnival. And she used to go, she'd go up there like when my dad, who was a big part of the caravan in the 1950s and 60s, and we'd sit and we'd talk about it, and we'd say, boy, those were the good old days when so many people from Maine would show up. Well, we were there in, I think, 96, 97, 98, 2000, in those years. And she said, Sarah, she says, why don't you start this caravan again? And so I really have to credit her with being the inspiration for getting the caravan going again. And I'll give you a little bit further. Her husband is survivor Bob Crowley.
Oh, yes. Really?
Yes,
Oh, jeez. This is such a small world.
it certainly is. And Peggy and Bob have been on the caravan with us a number of times.
One of these days I'm going to do it. I went to the Winter Carnival 2 years ago and had just had a great time, but I have to drive a long way just to get to where you are.
That's very true.
Sarah, thank you very much for joining me on Bob Duchenne's Wild Maine.
Well, I certainly appreciate this, and I really recommend the trip to anybody that would like to participate in it.
That's Sarah Brooks. Get info through the Central Aroostook Chamber of Commerce. This is Bob Duchenne's Wild Maine, airing every Saturday at 9 a.m. and Sunday at 8 a.m., except for the next 2 weeks. As happens every year, Sports Radio 92.9 The Ticket will be live at the Cross Insurance Center in Bangor for the high school basketball tournament. We'll start basketball coverage next week at 9, so this show will run at 8 next Saturday morning and the following Saturday. This is Maine, and nothing gets in the way of high school basketball. Sundays will stay the same at 8 a.m. And as always, as soon as the show airs, it goes up online. The whole archive is at 929theticket.com. You can even hear this show again right now. Just go to the website and click on Bob Duchenne. It is all brought to you by Hammond Lumber, Dysarts, EBS, and Napa Auto Parts.